Hi, I'm Sharon Abaud, immigration attorney in the area of Los Angeles, California, here with you today to talk about an important topic. If you are trying to immigrate through your family and you live in the United States, you need to watch this. Stay tuned. Before I get started, I would like to ask all of you to go ahead and like my video and subscribe to my channel. That way you receive notification every time that I am here with a new video that you don't want to miss. I do want to let all of you know that I am working from my home office, so I apologize for any background noise, but we are here under the stay-at-home order in California, and we are trying to keep our community safe, so we are all working from home. But we are still working and taking consultations by phone or video, so there's always that option as well. First of all, I always recommend that before you get started, you always consult with an immigration attorney, because there's always something that can make you inadmissible, some little issue that can create problems along the way. And it's really important that you understand your path. You understand what you need to do to get to your goal of becoming a lawful permanent resident. First, in a consultation, I always want to know if you're trying to immigrate through family, whether it be a U.S. citizen spouse or a lawful permanent resident spouse, or whether you're immigrating through your U.S. citizen child who's at least 21 years old. If you're in one of those, any family-based situation, first thing I want to know is if you qualify to immigrate in the United States. Some ways to qualify, and I have other videos that go into detail about this, but some ways to know if you qualify to immigrate inside the United States. Do you have a lawful entry? If you have a lawful entry, you may qualify to immigrate in the United States. I don't want you to take it for certain. For example, if you are not an immediate relative, that means if you're the spouse of a resident, or you're the child of a resident, or you're in any of the categories that has to wait for a visa. If you ever overstayed your visa, you may be ineligible to immigrate here in the United States. So that's really important, number one. Another way to immigrate in the U.S. is if you have 245I. 245I is when you have a petition that was filed on your behalf April 30th, 2001 or before. If that is the case, you will qualify to immigrate in the United States. Always consult first to make sure you have it. Some family members of people who are the beneficiaries of these petitions may qualify as well. So if your mom or your dad or your ex-husband or wife or someone in your family had 245I, you might have it as well. It's always worth it to mention it to your attorney and ask if you qualify. Another way, but this one's pending because the administration has threatened to take it away, is if you have a family member in the military. You may be able to get what's called parole in place. Parole in place would allow you to immigrate here in the United States. And then certain TPS holders may be able to immigrate inside the U.S. And then there's, of course, the U visa if you qualify. That's a long path, but it's eventually a path to immigrate in the U.S. And, of course, VAWA. So if you are a U.S. citizen, if you are the person immigrating and you do not qualify to immigrate here in the United States, what's going to happen is you're going to be required to go to your interview to your home country. And you will have to go to the U.S. Embassy or U.S. Consulate there to do your interview. Now here's the issue. If you have more than 6 months of unlawful presence, or if you have more than 1 year of unlawful presence in the U.S., the moment that you leave to go to your interview, you start what's called a 10-year bar, possibly a permanent bar depending on your immigration history. But at minimum, you would have a 10-year bar, okay? If less than a year but more than 6 months, it would be a 3-year bar. But most people would have what's called the 10-year bar. And it's really drastic. A lot of people try to do this process by themselves, or they hire someone who doesn't, who's not really authorized to practice law and doesn't know these rules. And what happens is they go to their interview expecting to come back in a couple weeks as a resident, and they go to the interview and they're told, sorry, you got the 10-year bar, got to deny you, got to spend 10 years outside the country before your family can immigrate you, or you have to file for a waiver outside, wait for it to get approved, and then come back, which can take years anyway. And when you have a family, this is really drastic. So it's really important that you understand this before you go to your interview, okay? If you're in this situation, you may qualify for a waiver before you go to the interview. So what you would want to do is file for a provisional waiver. Okay, you qualify for this provisional waiver if you have a U.S. citizen or green card holder resident, or you have a mom or dad that is a U.S. citizen or resident. If you have a U.S. citizen child petitioning for you, that U.S. citizen child will not qualify you for this waiver. Okay, really important to know. Only U.S. citizen parents and U.S. citizen or resident parents or U.S. citizen or resident spouse. Those are the only ways you qualify for this waiver, and you have to prove extreme hardship to that U.S. citizen or resident family member that qualifies you for the waiver. Okay? And extreme hardship is not, I'll be sad like everyone else. You got to show how your case is different, how you have other factors in your life that would make you qualify for this waiver. It could be physical hardship, psychological hardship, emotional, financial. Those are factors that could qualify you for this waiver. Once you have that waiver approved, then you would go to your interview, okay? And then, if there's no other issues of inadmissibility, this is why it's really important to do this with an attorney, because there can be other issues that come up. And if there are other issues, you will become ineligible for this waiver that's from inside the U.S. Then you go to your interview, and at the interview is where, if everything goes well, you'd be outside the country for a couple weeks instead of years. So, and then once you come back to the U.S., the officer inspects your packet. That's when you would become a green card holder. It's a longer process if you have to go outside the U.S. So you guys see all these obstacles that we have to go through. It's a longer process, and it's costlier and it's riskier because you don't have a lot of rights once you're outside of the U.S. Okay, and it's not it's not preferred. So that's why I always try to screen you to see if there's a way that I can immigrate you here inside the U.S. without getting you outside of the country. One way that a lot of people don't know they qualify, and I always try to screen for this because a lot of people, when I ask them certain questions, they're saying, yeah, that's me. And they don't know they qualify unless I ask, of course, right? So one way is through VAWA. And VAWA, a lot of people think has to involve physical, like if you're married to a U.S. citizen or a resident, they think that there has to be physical hardship or physical abuse, which is not the case. You don't even have to have a police report. If there are certain types of marital problems that could qualify you. For example, if your U.S. citizen or resident spouse is a very jealous person, doesn't let you go out, doesn't let you talk to your friends or family, you feel isolated from the world, maybe you haven't been able to get an education or the licensing that you need, or maybe they threaten you without me, your kids will get taken away. Maybe they don't want to file for you because they feel like you'll leave them or leave her. This can be for men or women if you get your green card. Maybe they need to know where you are at all times, or they need to know all your passwords to all of your accounts. Maybe they make you feel like you're worthless without them. They humiliate you in front of people. Those are types of factors that could qualify you for VAWA, and very worth mentioning to your attorney, because if you qualify for VAWA, you do not have to leave the country. You can immigrate here in the U.S. And while your case is pending, because VAWA cases are taking about 2 years, while your case is pending, you would be able to file for a work permit in the United States while your case is pending. And that would be about 3 to 4 months. Okay, so really important information. And I do want to mention that work permit is what gets you a social security number and allows you to start your life. Same social security number that you get to keep later as a green card holder and a U.S. citizen. A lot of really important information in this video. I know it's a lot. I'm going to break it down in future videos, but this is just really important, and I hope if you get anything out of everything I just said, I hope if you get anything, it's that you need to consult with an immigration attorney, okay? And you need to make sure you know what you're doing before you get started. Really important, okay? Immigration law is a very complicated area of law. Any little factor can make you inadmissible, can make you qualify you for a waiver or not qualify you for a waiver. You need to know what's going on with your case. Don't go at it blindly. The consequences can be severe, okay? It's been a pleasure being here with you. I hope this information benefited you. And if it did, I hope that you can go ahead and like it and share it with your community. And go ahead and subscribe to my channel. That way you receive notifications when I upload my next videos. I hope to see all of you soon, and please, please, please stay healthy and safe. Take care.